join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Pavoni?
Here.
Mr. Corman?
Here.
Mr. Prince?
Here.
Mr. Person?
Here.
Ms. Witchy?
Here.
Mr. McGurven?
Here.
Ms. Perez?
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
Thank you, Megan. First item on the agenda is a proclamation.
Okay, this proclamation is for Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas parks, planning, and recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country and improve the quality of life in our Renton community by providing safe and beautiful parks and high-quality, community-focused special events and recreational experiences. And whereas parks, open space, and recreation programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic disease, provide therapeutic recreation services for those who are mentally or physically disabled, and improve the mental and emotional health of all citizens. And whereas participation in the neighborhood programs builds unity, strengthens volunteerism and community development, and promotes sensitivity and understanding of our community's growing cultural diversity while preserving our history and sharing its stories. And whereas parks, urban forestry, and trails increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Renton parks and natural areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide places for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas parks, open space, and natural recreation areas improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of the air we breathe, provide vegetation, buffers, and greenways, and provide habitat for salmon and other wildlife. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim July 2017 to be Parks and Recreation Month in the City of Renton, and I encourage all citizens to join me in this special observance. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 10th day of July 2017, and this is signed by our Mayor, Dennis Law.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Pavoni.
I move the proclamation be adopted as read.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Pavoni, second by Mr. Prince, that this proclamation be adopted as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. So this evening, we have Todd Black, who's our capital project coordinator, and Donna Eakin, who's our recreation coordinator, here to accept the proclamation. I hope we have it.
He can take it.
But you two are gonna have to, you're two are gonna have to smile, because Dave's gonna take your picture.
Sure.
Back in there?
Yeah.
No, where are we going?
Right up there is fine.
Video
Right to the
today?
front.
No video today? So is the one behind me?
Hold up a little time. Thank you. And one more. Thank you.
My Randy.
Okay, administrative report, Mr. Covington.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, a couple of items. First, as you know, we celebrated the 4th last week. We had worked on a way to not only educate more, but also hopefully improve the enforcement efforts of our keeping the illegal fireworks activities to a minimum. And I think our preliminary reports are, as far as we know, no reported property damage or injuries, which is a good thing. We're still working on a finalized report, and we'll have that to you in the next week or so. Tomorrow, I want to just remind everybody of Farmers Market. Featured at the market will be the solid waste section hosting an Upcycle Your T-shirt into a reusable bag. That's something that everybody should just really put on their calendar. That's at the market tomorrow, as well as the fresh fruit and produce and other items that are always there. So we hope folks will turn out and enjoy the market. There's an open house for Kennedale Fire Station Wednesday, July 12th from 6 to 8. And I encourage people to go. That'll be at the North Highlands Community Center. And folks who are interested in learning more about that station, as well as providing comments, are welcome to go to that. Just a reminder, again, the King County Sheriff's Office has closed the Cedar River for all in-water recreation from Landsberg to Ron Regis Park, just at our city limits. So we just want to encourage folks to pay attention to that and be very careful if you're doing anything in the river, even below that closure inside the city. As always, have a number of street projects going both by the city as well as the state, and so we just again encourage people to please use patience and be very cautious when you're in and around construction activities. That is all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Covington. We don't have anybody signed up for audience comments, so moving on to consent agenda. We have 7 items for council consideration. Are there any items a council member would like pulled for discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to pull item F,
Okay,
D, and E. Is
F,
that
D,
right?
D, E, and F.
D, E, and F, okay.
D, E, and F,
D,
okay?
E, and F.
Second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I
Mr.
I move that the council concur with the consent agenda minus item D, E, and F.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, seconded by Mr. Prince. The council concur with the consent agenda minus items D, E, and F. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Person?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The first one on D, the Community Services recommends approval of a contract with Dude Solutions. Sounds like a good company. For the implementation and subscription of a work management software solution. And in the total amount of $116,774, and approval of contract with McKinstry for the implementation and completion of a facilities condition assessment in the total of $124,387, with the Renton Regional Fire Authority reimbursing the city for $12,739. The total cost for both contracts is $241,161. This came up in emerging issues in the Finance Committee, and we need to get this done so we can get some work done. And the council's going to be taking some time off and to run through the regular, would throw it off. So with that, I move the council concur in the recommendation. Well, it wouldn't be the recommendation. Concur in item D.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Pavoni, that item D be approved as part of the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
And this is, item E is about approval for an architectural agreement with SM Semper Architects to make a plan for replacing our elevators. I am sure everybody has noticed that every day we come in here, at least one of them is out of order. And being a person that's been caught in one of those, and the fire department, me and King Parker went in one night after council meeting, and the fire department didn't know how to come and release the door. So King and I are sitting in this elevator for a couple hours.
Without a cell phone.
Honestly, we had nothing to do with that.
And worst yet is that they put a survey in, a prisoner, Renton Police prisoner survey in, asking how we liked our stay. They stuffed it through the door. So I see a special priority in getting these elevators done. And just as a point of matter, because you can only do one at a time, it's going to take almost 2 years for us to get these done, because it takes about 6 months an elevator. So anything to move this process along, I'm all for. So I move the council approve item E.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Pavoni, that item E be approved as part of the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And then item D,
F.
F, G, I just want to, but item F is to hire a police officer, a lateral police officer at the D salary range. And, I mean, I hate to get a police officer on duty that fast is really important. So I move the council approve item F.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Corman, that council approve item F as part of the consent agenda. Any discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Person. Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Pavoni.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Corman,
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Prince,
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Person.
We have two reports from the Finance Committee, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, the first Finance Committee report is regarding approval of claims and payroll vouchers. The Finance Committee approves for payment on July 10th, 2017, claims vouchers 10020 through 10037, 357617 through 357620, 357628, 357645 through 357647, 357666 through 357968, and 4 wire transfers and 1 payroll run with benefit withholding payments totaling $6,445,977.63, and payroll vouchers including 692 direct deposits and 63 payroll vouchers totaling $1,319,978.54. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
move the council concur in the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Witchy, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the next Finance Committee report is regarding the 2017 second quarter budget amendment ordinance and amending the 2017-2018 fee schedule. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve an amendment to the 2017-2018 budget appropriations in the amount of $6,542,763, with the total amended budget to be $549,988,882 for the biennium. The committee also recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve an amendment to the 2017-2018 fee schedule as noted in a red-lined version of the attached 2017-2018 fee schedule. The committee further recommends that the ordinance regarding the 2017 second quarter budget amendment be presented for first reading and that the resolution regarding the 2017-2018 fee schedule be presented for reading and adoption. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the council concur in the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Prince, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And Mr. Mayor, just, I should have most likely brought this in, but this includes the money to fix the elevator.
That's okay. Thank you, sir. Ms. Witchy.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. McIrvin
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
and Ms. Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to legislation, we have a resolution and several ordinances.
Okay, this is a resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, adopting the amended 2017-2018 City of Renton fee schedule.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Prince, that this resolution be adopted as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, we have one ordinance for first reading. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, amending the City of Renton fiscal years 2017 through 2017/2018 biennial budget as adopted by ordinance number 5824 and thereafter amended by ordinance number 5835 in the amount of $6,542,763.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Prince, that this ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, so we have one ordinance for first reading and advancement to second and final reading. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, amending section 2-16-3 of the Renton Municipal Code, clarifying Lodging Tax Advisory Committee membership language by aligning it with state law and providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Pavoni.
I move that the ordinance be put on second and final reading at the next committee meeting.
Nope.
Nope.
Right.
Today.
Oh, tonight.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, I move that the ordinance be put on second reading tonight.
Second.
It's It's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, seconded by Mr. Prince, that this ordinance be advanced to second and final reading this evening. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, for the second reading, an ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, amending Section 2-16-3 of the Renton Municipal Code, clarifying Lodging Tax Advisory Committee membership language by aligning it with state law and providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Corman.
I move adoption of the ordinance as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Corman, seconded by Mr. Pavoni, that this ordinance be adopted as read and requires a roll call.
Mr. Pavoni?
Aye.
Mr. Corman?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Person?
Aye.
Ms. Witchy?
Aye.
Mr. McGurven?
Aye.
Ms. Perez?
Aye.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all ayes.
Ayes have it.
Okay, and our final ordinance, which is for second and final reading, second reading and adoption, an ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, amending sections of the Renton Municipal Code, removing references to licenses being issued annually and deferring to the city's fee schedule brochure with regard to the term of licenses, updating references to state law, clarifying the qualifications for low-income special lifetime license, clarifying the circumstances in which an animal may be impounded and procedures for such impounds, requiring impounded animals to be licensed and microchipped as a condition of redemption, contemplating waivers, reductions, and/or payment plans for those who cannot afford to repay required costs when redeeming an animal, clarifying procedures for the disposition of abandoned animals, and providing for severability and an effective date.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the ordinance be adopted as read.
Second.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Corman, that this ordinance be adopted as read, and it requires a roll call.
Mr. Pavoni?
Aye.
Mr. Corman?
Aye.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Person?
Aye.
Ms. Witchy?
Aye.
Mr. McGurven?
Aye.
Ms. Perez?
Aye.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all ayes.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Megan. Moving on to new business, Mr. Pavoni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on July 17th, Committee of the Whole will meet in council chambers at 5:30, and we have two items on the agenda. The first is crime statistics briefing, and the second is update on inclusion strategies and actions. That is all, Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
thank you. Mr. Corman.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on Thursday, July 13th, at 4 p.m. in the council conference room, the Planning and Development Committee will be meeting. We have one item on the agenda, review of amendments to the City Center Community Plan. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Person.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the council had a email today about the racing in the valley, drag racing, and I move that we refer the matter of drag racing down in the valley or throughout the whole city to the Committee of the Whole for a briefing of what has been done, what the problem is, what we can do, and let the neighbors know that we made a time that they could maybe at least write us their concerns so we know what all their concerns is. If not, come and speak to us directly.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Pavoni, that the issue of racing in the valley and other parts of the city be referred to Committee of the Whole. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, Ms. Witchy.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Community Services Committee will be meeting on Monday, July 17th at 5 p.m. We have two items on the agenda. The first is Dragon Art at South 3rd Street and Wells Avenue South. And the second item is amending Renton Municipal Code 2-9-8.c.10 regarding overnight stays in the park. And that is all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McGurven.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to announce that on Thursday, July 13th at 3:30 p.m. in the council conference room, there will be a Utilities Committee meeting. There are two items on the agenda, Harrington Avenue Stormwater Retrofit Bid Award and second emerging issues and utilities. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Perez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just announced that the meeting that was going to take place for Transportation Committee on Monday, July 17th has been canceled.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Corman.
One go back, if I may. On the subject of drag racing, I remember back when we've had different ordinances in place, and I remember a time when one of those ordinances got thrown out by our own municipal court judge, if I recall correctly. But I was wondering, when we get a briefing or if we attack new legislation, Would it be appropriate, could we ever ask the municipal court judge to join us in that process, or is that a protocol breakdown?
I'll
or-
ask the city attorney, but my gut feel is probably not.
I share a gut feeling with the mayor. I would invite the city attorney's office to be involved in the review of any proposed legislation, and we'd be happy to look into court treatment
Okay.
of legislation and that kind of thing, and consult with the court as appropriate, but the court's abilities to advise on legislation is limited.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, just to add on a thing, I made the motion wide enough that I would hope that we could have engineering people here, because I think there
Okay.
would be some engineering, roundabouts or something that we could do to stop it permanently.
Okay. I will tell you that it's been, well, as you know, a huge issue for a number of years. And they're well organized. These racers go all over the county. And they are so sophisticated now that not only do they know when the police are coming, but they're brazen enough to where a lot of them won't stop. And so they put some jurisdictions in a position of high-speed pursuits, which we won't do. And so a lot of them just have this sense they can get away with what they're doing. And so we're trying to come up with some creative plans in which we can address this. And I do know that there's going to be some multi-agency strategy applied to this in the next short period of time.
Okay, good.
So we'll make sure all of that stuff is
Great.
brought forward.
Okay, good. Good preview. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay? Let's see, did I get everybody?
You
I
did.
did.
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
what's the wish of the council?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
We've been moved, it's been moved by 4 and seconded by 3 that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we're adjourned.